Hey, you! You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed because you're an untouchable success. To support us and gain access to great exclusive shows like our brand new Supernatural watch-along Himboos, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. You'll also get your lucky little mitts on hundreds of episodes of our other exclusive shows like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spielboys, and the complete series of Fox Mulder is a Maniac. We do movie nights, game streaming, regular mini-series and surprise shows, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want, within reason. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain by heading to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed. Probably don't need help with that word.
I'm stonewalling because I really, for the audience's sake, don't want that to be the opener.
All right. I'll use what you're saying right now.
Oh, okay. Hey, disclosure day. Let's all disclose. That means take off your clothes.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
My name is David Bell.
Oh, gosh, how I wish my name was Tom Ryman, you know?
Yeah.
You can carve it in your chest, but it don't make it true.
It's a good name. And we just watched Disclosure Day.
I'm not saying whether I watched it. I ain't saying. I'm playing that close to the chest in honor of the film.
What did you steal?
Secrets. The data they paid me to protect.
Are they people?
No.
Let's
Maybe
find
I saw
out.
it. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, we'll find out.
Oh, Mike, thank you. So first of all, we don't need those fucking Spielboys. We're Spielmen. We're Spielmen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We're Cronin boys who grew into Spielmen, if I may.
Yeah. Listen, thank you for being on. If people are wondering, over at Small Beans, patreon.com/smallbeans.
Where all our shows are SB, that hence Spielboys. Don't look into it, but all our shows follow that format.
Tom and Abe will be doing a Spielboys episode for Disclosure Day, so we thought it'd be kinky to swap it up.
Yeah, don't shame us. And thank you so much for having me, Dave. I'm excited, but also I gotta say, I definitely heightened and a little scared because on my home turf, something Abe and I both do and allow each other and are known for is copious notes. My secret, it's not everyone's, but my secret to being good at improv is not doing improv, thinking ahead, exhausting every possibility, and drilling and memorizing every outcome. And if he says that, I'll say this. If he says that, I'll say this. Like some kind of paranoid 3D chess game because you just don't want to be embarrassed. Anything to not be embarrassed, Dave. So this is just... our whole thing is built around not talking about stuff that I just saw because I'm worried about saying the wrong thing.
I know.
Was it good? You guys go, but you're like, we just saw it. Let's talk now. Fucking, let's go.
It is. Often I will say, because that was the whole premise of this show. I remember back
no
at
time
Craft,
to think
I
about
thought
it.
This is like we'd all see a movie and then we have dinner and talk about it. And first impressions aren't always like the best ones,
or the
like
one I would turn into an article if I had to, or whatever. Yeah, that's not my official take.
I also like seeing a movie in a theater. Like we do this for movies that I'll watch at home, and I'm like, I can take notes while I'm watching. Can't take notes in the theater because you look like an asshole unless the theater's empty.
Right. I was unwilling to. There were only 4 people, but I was still unwilling to take notes. That said, one of the 4 people felt comfortable talking out loud to their ChatGPT to clarify a plot beat they didn't understand. Like pulled out their phone and went to some LLM. Hey, the guy just said this in this movie, but I thought that. Oh, in the Act 1, this happened. Oh, okay.
That's when I went and saw.
Prick.
I saw Reagan for a podcast, and in the theater, there was very few people, and the guy in front of me had Reagan's Wikipedia up the whole time, and it was just scrolling.
Like, that ain't true.
Yeah, that is a nightmare though. That's part of this podcast. Is if your theater
dude,
sucks, you
gotta
might not
say,
like the movie as much.
That's our theater sucks because it's actually, I don't live in Hollywood anymore.
Yeah.
So there's not a long history of but theater is what we do. We have pride in it. Literally got food poisoning from the, disaffected Zoomer who has no reason to care. More power to them. But there was one Zoomer running the whole theater. They made me popcorn that made me sick because I'm sure in retrospect that popcorn machine hasn't been cleaned ever. Why would it be?
Why would
and
it be?
Jen and I both went and we both got sick and all we had was popcorn. So we know that was it. And there's 4 people there. I got to say, another reason I'm grateful to be here, we should talk about Disclosure Day, of course, though, is since I have a little one at home now, I only see things I'm going to cover. So this is the first time I've been to the theater, since he was born because I was going to cover it and it's only in theaters. So thank you for even sending me out to the theater. It was a precious, treasured experience and also a huge depressing reminder that they actually are. I think they are going to die. I think we will be old men who are there used to be this building you'd go to watch it really big. And they'd be and people would be
strangers.
Yeah, we know the IMAX thing at Disney World. And we'd be no, they were everywhere.
Yeah.
There were more modest ones everywhere.
Right. It's always hard to tell here in LA because I'm the theater's always fucking on fire here. Everybody was seeing...
The closest open theater to me showing Steven Spielberg's new movie was 25 minutes away, had a couple show times, and it sucked. Weird.
Well, all right, let's talk about the movie itself. This is, Spielberg doing Aliens, which he's done several times now.
E.T., Close Encounters, and this one.
Not to skip ahead. Did you think E.T. was going to pop out of that thing at the end?
I have a different read of Saving Private Ryan than most, so I count that as that part of the alien quadrilogy, but let's not get into that here. I got to say, I don't know if they've done this before, and it's stupid, and it's not art in a way that matters, but I actually was got by the custom logo because it's between Universal and Amblin. So it's the universal Earth, then the moon orbits from behind the Earth, and you're that logo doesn't usually have the moon in it. Then E.T. flies by the moon, and you're
right.
It's both. It's Univ Amblin.
Which is weird because that would put E.T. It would put E.T. farther into space.
Well,
right, because he's flying over the moon, looking at Earth.
He's between the camera and the moon.
Yeah, he took that kid to space.
That kid is bicycling in zero atmosphere.
That kid's dead
around the moon. That's so funny. Anyway, what was the question? Did I like it, or did I think E.T. was going to pop out?
I legitimately thought
you
for
usually
a
ask,
second
what
that E.T. was
did you
going to
think
pop
of?
out.
Hey Tom, what did you think of Disclosure Day?
What did you think of Disclosure Day?
That's what I prepared for. I think it's so if I was gonna, which I like to quickly get past because as I said, I would have better stuff that's usually the thing I like to bring to a table is, well, I paid even more attention than you probably did, listener. So if you like this thing, here's some things you didn't even notice that hopefully will make you like it even more. So I was looking for those things, or what you would call the bread and butter of a pop culture joy piece. And I came away feeling Kep, who of course wrote the Jurassic Park script, is still good at writing scripts. And Steven Spielberg, who directed some notable films.
Yeah, he's the producer of Animaniacs.
Yeah,
People
there you go.
Animaniacs.
He's one of the characters in Animaniacs who'll pop up from time to time. That's how I mostly know him. He is still a good director, meaning they never did anything where I went, that's dumb or bad. And almost every movie has something that's dumb or bad. And so he's still got it. But at the same time, I was never... Well, rarely. There were 1 or 2 shots I want to talk about that I thought were really cool, but I was never in awe of the innovation or the meaning of the postcard of the blah, blah, blah. And this is fine. It felt, there were many more sequences that felt hey, I got David Kep. He wrote me a good monologue. It's good. The words are good. I got Emily Blunt or Coleman Domingo. They're going to say it good. And I thought this was wild because it's such a Michael Bay thing. Let's just spin the camera around the room for the whole scene. She's a good actor. Let her just do it. Let's just watch it. And that's always fine. But it leaves me walking away, honestly, Dave, with my if I had to do my judgment call of how is this movie, I'm like, yeah, it's good in the way that an old man who doesn't have much left to say, who's still competent, does a good movie that's good. But at no point was I like, whoa. And I'll tell you, it's like fine to watch. It was fine to watch. Even a little less good than, like, I feel like as PTA ages, he's holding on to his willingness to dig into the nitty gritty and say stuff a little more. Spielberg, this really felt like almost reading a column by an old man who's like, this is all the alien shit. I think that shit's true, man. You're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I thought this was I liked this movie, but I know exactly. Like, again, I legitimately
mostly
thought it was
heads
going to
talking. It's mostly people talking.
I thought it was going to be at least like a connection to Close Encounters. I was like, fucking do it, man. You earn it. Make it like put a Close Encounters reference at the end where you see like the lights in the first contact in that movie or something. But it is just, I thought this movie is like a very hopeful wish that felt a little naive about where this world's at. And it's so well directed that it affected me emotionally, that wish, even if I found it a little naive. And I also found some of the details, some of the ins and outs a little confusing.
Interesting.
But again, it's so well crafted that none of that really mattered.
Well, I think that they're all smart people involved. And I think Steven Spielberg has lived a life that is bound to leave someone naive or with the freedom to talk about things that seem less urgent to the people undergoing whatever's going on. But like, if you follow me, like, I got nothing against aliens, but I think even Steven Spielberg knows that, and Kep knew, that at this time in American history or like the Western Hemisphere, a lot of alien interest is tamped down by the fact that everything's on fire and everyone's dying and shit.
And that's a factor in this.
They threw in there, like, our runner is World War III is also happening. Like, the world is falling apart. I'm not so out of touch. I don't know that. I just really want to spend most of the time talking about the aliens. And wouldn't that be cool if the aliens came? It would even trump all that, pun not intended, but like all that shit would seem paltry compared to the aliens coming. And I'm like, yeah, but at the end of this movie, I have to step outside and that shit is still really happening.
Yeah.
So
That's
like
why
aliens can take a back seat for a second, dude.
It's almost Sorkin-esque, but aliens.
It was so Sorkin-y. I've thought that many times. Yeah.
Because the ending, not to skip to the ending, but the ending's a big... The ending made me feel something emotionally because Spielberg's really good at making movies. But it's such a wish, this idea that someone would put out this footage and the news would instantly pick it up and go like, yeah, that's not fake. They do like a quick thing where they're like, all right, yeah, checker is cleared. And like the world would stop and everybody would be on their phone,
producers.
and it'd be this big magical moment, you know?
I've worked in those production trailers, and the way that every company has suits there to step in to stop this exact kind of thing from happening. This scene where a veteran producer on a news program that's like 24-hour live New York City, she calls and she's like, the guy's like, put it over to ABC, and she's like, but they're our competitor. And he's like, this is bigger than us, it's the world, like give it to everyone, give it to NBC, give it to CBS. That would not happen. I just don't buy. No.
And
she'd go, no, I don't want to be fired.
That's fake.
Or
Most
like,
people,
we should vet this first. There's a bunch of reasons it wouldn't happen that way, but it's fine.
Nobody would like stop and be like, wow, they in the news. Again, the
wait.
Is great.
Let her talk.
Yeah, it's really good and it affects me emotionally.
Very yeah, but if Sorkin wanted to talk about the alien issue, and that's what I think is also funny is, War of the Worlds. That's the one I was leaving out because. Right. Again, it's not bad. I think people, if they're listening, they're interested. It's a fine one to complete. It does make you feel feelings. Emily Blunt kills in a kind of role she doesn't get to do often. Like, she has a bunch of funny scenes, which I wasn't expecting. And I was like, well, what a delight to see Emily Blunt do sort of Spielberg funny, like you're in a weird situation. You're speaking in Russian and you don't know why. And you're oscillating between laughing and crying, like kind of Kate McKinnon crazy because of what the aliens are doing to her brain. And I love that. So there's like it's certainly a platter of delights. But man, where it really fell down for me, and it's just my expectation going in, I guess, was like, think back to Duel, Jaws, Saving Private Ryan, War of the Worlds. With aliens coming, I did expect to be on the edge of my seat. And it's not even that tense. It's about as tense as a Sorkin thing. Where it's like, even the bad
sort of
guy
works out.
is not... he's not running a concentration camp. He just disagrees that the information should come out. Oh, and they're not like constantly murdering each other. There are moments where they would kill them if they could. But I don't know. There's certainly nothing like War of the Worlds where Tom Cruise is sprinting blocks through lasers, zapping all. And I didn't need, but like even E.T. felt more action packed than this. This felt like a conversation of serious adults being like, aliens are real. Don't laugh at this.
Yes. Well,
Shut up. Stop making fun of this.
It definitely felt very like he wasn't going for a thriller. This was something that pinged me early on, and this is like my
I wanted
biggest
to be
hit against it.
tenser. That's all.
Well, this ties into that. The opening sequence is Josh O'Connor, and he's getting kidnapped by Colin Firth, who, by the way, I didn't even fucking recognize that was Colin Firth for some reason.
That was Firth. I was like, who is this weird chin strap beard dude?
What did they do to him? What did they do? Like, every time I look at him, I'm like, who is that? And I had to look it up and go like, wait, I know who Colin Firth is. Why don't I recognize that man as Colin Firth?
His brows seem like they're weirdly separated, like they didn't used to be. It's interesting.
So the opening is him being like, the bad guys have him, and it almost feels a little Raiders where like, he's caught, and then he whips out this dildo, this alien dildo, and everybody goes like, stop, oh my god, stop. And Colin Firth is like, be careful with that. They're treating it like he has a nuke in his hand. Like it's suddenly he's almost the bad guy of the scene where everybody's like, okay, just be cool, everybody
and
just
nothing
be cool.
we're doing is worth that, man. Don't do
Right.
that. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, that's some sort of weapon. And for the rest of the movie, we never really understand what the fuck that thing does. I don't even know why in that scene, I don't know why he's scared that he's going to squeeze it. For the rest of the movie. It makes you invisible. It does all these random things. It's this grab bag. It's this like wild card.
Coleman
that they
Domingo
can
pointedly
use.
says you shouldn't use it like that. It's not a magic wand. It is. It's a magic wand.
Right.
It's
And in
absolutely storytelling wise. That's what it's. That's one of the weaker parts of the idea. Is well, let's just put a thing in. I was like, there's nothing in a movie I've ever seen more conducive to Dave calling it the dildo when we finally talk about the movie. It's like the goober in Into the Spider-Verse. You're there literally just like is a plot machine that solves all situations because they hold it out. And that's annoying. Yeah.
It's annoying only because in the beginning they treat it like a threat, and then the rest of the movie they never explain because it turns a guy invisible. Like it doesn't do anything that room full of people with guns.
The idea is we don't fully understand it, so you could squeeze it and anything could happen. And it's like, well, okay, then the writer, of course, well, then anything could happen. It kind of punctures the tension, of course.
Yeah, and so they use the aliens almost as this grab bag. Same with like Emily Blunt's character. There's points where people just comply with her. Like I got when she was like, she's taking the form of their loved ones and like, you know, giving them the whammy
jumped
there.
right to the
out.
two worst things. I'm glad we get them out of the way.
Yeah. But at the end, when she's literally just like goes into her news place and she's like, we're going to do this, this, and this. And everybody goes, I don't know why I'm doing this, but okay. I'm like, does she hypnotize
I think
them?
she has the voice or the force. Yeah, I think she has suggestible. But the one right before that was the one that got me. So the climactic height of their danger is they are in a situation where they're on like a tarmac of a decommissioned Air Force base surrounded by government agents in suits who have been ordered that if required, shoot them to death. Like that's how far we pushed it. And she does the thing, which we've seen her done multiple times, where the way they set it up or cheat it to you first in the movie is she gets pulled over for speeding and she can't, right? Given other situations in the movie, we know we're rooting for her to get out of the ticket. So she says to the cop like, hey, Brenda didn't mean that. Like you're both really fighting a lot because of the baby. But if you get a nap and she gets a nap, tell you what, on the way home, get those sprinkly things from the place she likes. Like she's totally gonna suck you off tonight. It's gonna be good, man. Yeah. And he's like, you can go. And I buy that in a one-on-one disarming situation. But then at the climax, there's a cloud of maybe a dozen people with guns drawn on her, and she ratatouilles them one at a time. Like she gives them a vision of her. She's like, even though I didn't say it in life, I'm proud of you, son. And that guy goes, well, I can't kill her. Then she turns to another person and goes like, I remember when we were in Italy. And like, she's like, oh, I can't kill you. And I'm like, but what about the person over at the edge?
Right, the guy next to her just shoots her in the head.
Shoots her from the side. I got her, guys. Good distraction. I got her. Like, you can't ratatouille people in a crowd one at a time. It just doesn't. It breaks all the rules of how she's been using it throughout the rest of the film.
I think the idea is her power is empathy, right? There's a religious aspect to this, obviously.
Empathy, yeah.
Yeah, they're like the second coming. This idea of like her and Josh O'Connor are like the chosen two. Josh O'Connor, as we learn, is a conduit to the aliens. He exists so the aliens can communicate with him, so he can then communicate with her, and she exists as a conduit to humanity. So the idea is she has this like ultimate empathy, right? Her power is anybody she talks to, she empathizes with and gives them that empathy.
And only
back.
since they switched her on. So to fully spoil the movie. But that's another thing is all the turns are basically what you'd expect from the trailer and the premise. They were both abducted as kids and they had a dildo pointed at their head and they had things implanted in them so that one day they were both destined to, he's called the experiencer and she's called the communicator or some shit. And it's just like they want the species to meet. He can now be the translator and she is granted with this magical ability that people will believe her. Like that's what they gave her. But I do agree that I think this is why I do think Spielberg though is a beautiful artist with a wonderful soul and like the hope is real. You're absolutely right. And we don't say it enough. And it's like one of my core beliefs. I have a custom bumper sticker that says empathy is a superpower because Coleman Domingo delivers a beautiful speech. I was just sad everything was a speech, frankly, but delivers a beautiful speech about how what makes higher order life forms and makes intelligent life succeed and persist in the great brutal game of natural selection is empathy. Empathy is the number one indicator of success and the most valuable trait because it encourages cooperation, and beyond that, this is why I think of it as a superpower. Empathy is fundamental for imagination, and our ability to imagine and sort of holodeck scenarios in our brains from multiple viewpoints is like, that's why we're a wizard compared to a dog. Is because we can imagine what it would be like to be a dog and therefore predict what the dog will do based on what we're going to do next. Like, empathy is the core basis of so many of the things that actually take you from being an animal with good intentions to being what we would call sentient, intelligent life.
Yeah, it's how we survive as a species.
And
like that's
and
how
it's
we
the
got this
warning
far.
that he's like, the movie's just like, if you lose sight of that, you will die. You'll all
Right.
die. Yeah.
And so they're literally they're treating it like a superpower. It's just like none of this stuff is like. It's more of like I wish the movie, and I know why they didn't, and they've kind of earned this because I'm doing enough work for the movie that I'm like, okay, that worked like that worked like that. But ultimately, I'm like, I think you needed to kind of explain the ins and outs a little more, like because a lot of it felt like, again, this kind of wild card where they go like, it's alien, it's magic, it's like maybe the more I think about it, the more I watch it, I'll go like, oh, I see, that makes sense. Or
well,
I see
they do
now that's
because
the
Kep
reason
is
why.
good. They tie it to like the device has the only like little buttons or what you'd call insignia on the device look exactly like crop circles. So you're like, oh, I guess that's. You don't know what it means, but
Why
you're like,
did-
that's why crop circles look like that, I guess. Because
Why did they crop circle him when he's on the phone?
Yeah, that's my problem ultimately with the film is that it really just is saying everything was like, there was nothing new about alien lore at all, which maybe is what he was going for as like a clean, elegant, straightforward, not getting bogged down in the lore thing. Because of course that's how it ends is for a movie called Disclosure Day. What's funny is it's about, and of course this is how filmmakers think, right? And I like this trick. I also think this way, but it's funny how everything's just a trick eventually as you get older and realize.
Right.
Everyone else, all the humans disclose, right? She
Take
finds
off their
out.
clothes, yeah.
No, she finds out her boyfriend was hiding that he wants to break up.
Right.
Every single character has a major disclosure. Coleman Domingo explains to Colin Firth when he secretly decided he was going to betray his friend and believed that the truth should get out instead of being hidden. Like every single sequence is about almost to the point that you're like, why didn't you tell your girlfriend that? The main dude, the actor's name I don't know, I'm sorry.
Josh O'Connor
telling his girlfriend Jane over and like she revealed he didn't know she had been a nun for a year of her life. So
Right.
the whole point is everyone discloses everything. It's not just the aliens. Today is the day that in like a play-like sense, everyone's skeletons are coming out of the closet. And then ironically or fittingly or whatever you want to say, I found it kind of cheap. But the very last moment of the movie is her going, okay, here's what the aliens came all this way to tell us. Credits. And it's like, I totally understand. I know exactly what Spielberg would say, right? The point is that it was disclosed. I'm not going to venture to guess what it will actually be.
Right. You
But
can
I'm
leave it
like-
up to your imagination.
But you know who does venture to guess what it would be? X-Files writers. And I like that better because then like weird shit happens. I don't know. Throw something at me. Like, don't just say aliens are real. Have them have a creepy power like in The Thing. I just found
just
it
said
almost...
the alien-
It was too elegant.
it should just be the alien is coming out to his family. Like, and this is how he's choosing to do it. Like, I just thought, like, maybe through these humans, and then we're going to go, thanks, everybody.
I thought he'd be like, let me die. You guys suck.
Yeah.
Well, because the only
I am
living
a
alien
prisoner.
has been a government slave for 50 years, and they
Yeah.
free him and then let him
Yeah,
talk
if
to the
it-
American people. What if he was like, I just want to say,
Yeah.
your species does not deserve to
Yeah.
survive.
Fuck you
Fuck
guys.
you guys. Free Mandela. What? He's
I'm
dead. I'm out.
Later. That's another convenience at the end, by the way. So they do the thing with the
Like the glass dome he's in. He's like, that'll make it more dramatic. Put me in a dome.
no, at the very end, Jane, Josh O'Connor's girlfriend, just sort of walks in with the other dildo, which I also thought was very weird.
Well, he
She
gave
just-
it to her earlier. It's just basic plant payoff, but it was unearned.
it is, but it's more just that the whole place is surrounded by like these corporate army, and she literally just goes like, "Excuse me," and like kind of just goes through them, like walks amongst them, and then is just like here and
then
hands it to him,
which
And-
makes them able to overcome the first dildo with the power of the second dildo. Yeah.
Right. There's things like that where I'm like, that's not a plot hole so much as it's like, I mean, give me a scene where she sneaks in. Give me a scene where it's hard for her to get in. Like, it felt like there was no pushback, meaning there's no, like that, going back to the thriller of it all, like, it just, everything kind of just works out in ways that felt like, at least make them work for it a little bit.
I don't want to say rote because they're so good at their skill and their craft that it doesn't feel rote, but underneath it, the bones are actually rote. Like the big action centerpiece you see in the trailer is a car driving through a house, and it's so funny the way they did it because they shot it so old man like, I don't care. Can we please just not be here for a long time? There's like a single locked off wide shot of a stunt car crashing into a house. They get out of the car, have a conversation that's like an Aaron Sorkin conversation, and then they hear that cops are coming, so they get back in the car. We cut to that same wide locked off shot, and the stunt car blasts out of the other wall of the house.
Yeah, which is
It's like-
fun.
But it does feel like, man, Edgar Wright would have shot the shit out of that. And you just are like, well, let's just show it. Or even in Saving Private Ryan, all I can say is this director has made me feel tense and excited so many times. This time felt like it had the awe from Jurassic Park and E.T.
Yeah.
And the other part was Aaron Sorkin talking about aliens. And I would have liked maybe a third, and then a third was like the real Spielberg action shit. There's very little Spielberg intensity.
When Josh
Tintin was more exciting than this.
Oh yeah, that oneer, that was great.
It was
Tintin.
like thrilling, or at least made me tense when I saw it in the theaters. Yeah.
That is the most surprising part of this movie, I think. Like when Josh O'Connor's sneaking to the building with all the guys are there, I was thinking of movies like Children of Men, where there's a scene where they have to sneak out, and like the car won't
And
start, and they have
you're
to push
holding
it.
your breath.
Yeah. And I was like, why? Like, I know Spielberg can do this, and they're doing this cool wide oneer when he's getting in the car, but it did feel like there was just, again, it's going back to like he wasn't interested in that.
It felt like he was choosing not to. Of course he could do that. He's proven that so many times. He doesn't have to prove that. He was saying, right, this is my elegant think piece about alien disclosure. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. It's a little self-indulgent, but okay. It's a little boring. You've earned it. But
he made a movie about his own fucking life.
Sure. Yeah.
He's just like, he's on a victory lap.
Yeah.
That's why at the end I was like,
that
just
movie
make it
translates
ET.
to the
Just
story
make it
people
ET.
in other countries.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's again, I had fun.
Well, that was the
because
other
it's
thing.
Spielberg.
My friend, I have a friend who's obsessed with Alien Greys and the lore, and their big disappointment was, you have all this money, all the effects in the world, and we know you're going to do the traditional Alien Greys. You actually barely see them. They're just, because they appear as birds and deer. It felt like Spielberg was like, I want to go out of my way to make this not silly. Like, E.T. is beautiful. I'm sure he loves E.T., but you can't. I'm trying to be classy here. This is my classy presentation that I really do believe that there is intelligent life in the universe. So I want people to feel that Carl Sagan feeling of like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Not, I hope the cute goober lives. But frankly, between you and me, audience, I was kind of like, where's the cute alien goober for me to fall in love with? Like, root for. This is just humans.
I'm kind of the opposite, where that like what I would call the strength of the appeal of this movie is also, I think, some of the parts. So going back to Josh O'Connor's on the cell phone, he's talking to Emily Blunt, and then crop circle appears around him. I still don't know why that happened in the movie.
And there's
Who made
no
that
way.
crop circle.
I urge you. Well, I assume the aliens, or it was actually
Was it him?
No, I think that was Colin Firth trying to dive on him, because right after that they cut to him going, he's an experiencer, isn't he? That's why I can't dive on him.
Okay.
So I believe crop circles, I'm just forming this now, but the headcanon I'm forming now is, the button on the dildo is the shape of crop circles, and when you dive on someone, which is their terminology for psychically entering and taking over their mind, which is what the dildo often lets you do, crop circles form around them if they happen to be standing in tall grass. Maybe.
That's fair. And this goes into what I do.
Work.
What I like about it is that you mentioned the X-Files. The X-Files, when I was a kid, kind of introduced this thought into my head, and it's not a rare thought. A lot of people have this thought, which is that aliens are almost magical. There's a scene like in the X-Files, someone's being abducted and the deadbolt unlatches on its own, and you go like, that looks like magic, but the aliens are doing it, and it feels like this like. I like,
but of course, our technology looks like magic to cavemen. You use that same logic with yourself, there's a lot of people who believe that the experiences that people are conflating with, there's the science heads who think, your abduction story is actually just sleep paralysis combined with this feeling and this feeling in your brain, neurons firing. Then there's also people who are like, no, that's angels. They're angels taking. That's like, and this movie deals with that, I would argue, in a very classy, meaning minimal steps way, where they're like, they reveal Jane used to be a nun. They reveal that this gives her pause because she's like, I still take great comfort in believing in God, and don't aliens mean God doesn't exist? She asks her nun friend, who's still a nun, who seems very wise, and her nun friend goes, no, they can coexist. And Jane goes, oh, good. I didn't know that. That's great.
So it's like aliens. That's awesome. I love Elf.
Cool. I like both.
Elf can accept Jesus. That's fine.
Yeah. Elf can be saved. If anything, it's a whole new crop of rubes to evangelize.
Right. And so, like, I like all that. I like the idea that we can't comprehend how aliens function, and that it looks like, I like them coming as animals.
It would look like magic. I buy that. Sure.
Yeah, I like that the alien ship looks like the Hansel and Gretel house, where you realize, like, oh, that's a fucking alien ship that's parked in the woods, and they're making it look like that for
to
the
this little girl to make it not scary that they're abducting her. Yeah.
Right. I like when
which is so funny because did they not finish reading the Hansel and Gretel story?
Yeah.
Did the little girl not finish? Doesn't she understand a witch lives in that house?
Yeah.
That's the whole message of that book. Don't go in strange houses that just because they look like that.
Yeah. That's true. You're not supposed to do
I thought
what
that
this
was
little
super
girl's
weird.
doing.
Also thought it was super weird that the song she's singing is "Someday My Prince Will Come." I do think there's these weird Disney links to it all throughout that I felt were odd.
Yeah.
But at this point in my life as a crusty old man, I hate Disney and want it to die. Like I saw that it's turning 75 and I'm like, that's sad for the world. Disney needs to go away soon.
I like going to the theme parks, getting high.
I'm saying it's my problem that I've become bitter from.
Oh, okay.
As
Yeah,
as that Klingon says in that DS9 episode, Fathers and Sons, don't live too long, for the fruit of life turns bitter in your mouth.
And that's part of this movie is I guess we've seen it all. But I do think,
I was like, this was a good movie, but I've seen it all before, all the components before, so meh. You know, but that's on me.
I like the components. I like the fun and games with Emily Blunt reading everybody's minds.
Emily Blunt was incredible. It's worth it just to
Russell
watch
being
her.
all like baffled and wanting. And I like the bit where they're running over the cell phone and they can't do it right away, and it becomes like they have to stop and deal with it. That's almost a meta joke where it's like, oh, we have to stop and try a few times to run over this.
Well, I do like
phone.
the idea that in any movie, we're used to throwing at the screenplay, man, if cell phones existed at that time, this whole movie would be ruined in a second. Most horror movies, right? Or the author has to go out of their way to say there's no cell service here, or they drop their phone down the drain. I like that in this movie, they're the opposite. Well, you're being tracked, and it's actually sneaky hard to get rid of all your phone-like objects. They're like, destroy this. Damn, that's tough. Okay.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked, and as I said, there were shots I wanted to mention. I guess I'll bring up the one that most swiftly comes to mind, meaning like Steven Spielberg. I have to assume this was his thought, but maybe it was the cinematographer's, but at least whoever gets credit. It's a team sport, so it hardly matters. But Spielberg films still do throw the thing that I think is film's highest achievement at me, which is a meaningful postcard that is show don't tell, where I go, that's such a great visual encapsulation of what's happening right now, or it powerfully makes me feel what they want me to feel. And even though a bunch of the stuff felt like coverage where you're like, hey, this is an action scene, so let's spin the camera around. That's like what I would call an easy, low stakes choice like that. But do you remember the first time or one of the notable times, she's reading someone's mind? It happens to be a fully bald guy, and he turns away from her, so you're looking at the back of his bald head, so that as she slides in on the reflection of the glass between them, her face almost Voldemort's onto the back of his head.
Yeah, that was good.
I've never seen, and yet it's so obvious that you're like, how have I not thought of that or seen that before? Psychic powers being rendered as, oh, her face is literally inside, visually, the bubble of his head. She's in his head. That's cool. And there's like 5 of those. And that's what still makes, I'm like, he's still a real director. He's just not trying as hard as when he was proving himself in his 20s, because of course he isn't.
I put this in the category of something like Minority Report or War of the Worlds, where there'll be these moments where you go like, that's really good. This is Spielberg.
He's still got it for this one moment.
But he feels like he's a little less like, it's that feeling of like, I've told all the stories I wanted to tell. Like, you know, I did that like 20 years ago. I was kind of done, you know, like AI. It's like he just picked up Stanley Kubrick's film and was like, yeah, I'll grab it. You know, that feeling of like, he's still a really good director and he makes really good films, but it does feel like he's probably
like, I would believe it if a big part of this was like, I really wanted to work with Coleman Domingo. I just saw 3 movies in a row with him being really good, and I wanted to put him in, or whatever, or Emily Blunt, or I have a fuzzy memory for who he's used before. But my point is, like, at this late stage, I'm sure he's picking based on not the normal reasons that a 20-something-year-old filmmaker is picking, which is, how can I keep this going? What will blow everyone away and keep my career alive? He has the freedom, as very few people in the world do, to be like, what do I feel like talking about today? And I love that he's like, I think that Area 51 shit is true. I like that. That's a fun topic for him to be interested in.
Right.
It's cute. I'm like, that's very fun. Because I I could buy it either way. Sure.
Yeah, and so does David Koepp. David Koepp's at that point where it's like, you know, he did the original fucking screenplay to Well, I think he did Spider-Man, the Spider-Man screenplay. He did fucking the Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible, yada yada. He's like, and him and Spielberg, it's that feeling of like, who's going to give them notes? No one's going to give them notes. No one's going to read the screenplay that Spielberg's like, I want to make this, and go
indeed,
like,
there's
I was
nothing
unclear about this.
really
it's
like
you just go
wrong with it. Yeah, there's nothing bad about it.
No, and a lot of the things that, again, like
It's all
the
competent.
crop circle, the dildo, the things that I'm like, why did that happen? The answer is like, it's aliens. You're not supposed to fully understand it, which I do like. I like that idea. It's also just very convenient. There's a lot of conveniences. Emily Blunt, and I think that goes back to why did I not feel tension? It's because in any given sequence, Emily Blunt could fly for all I know. You know what I mean? Where it's like any jam that they're in, I'm like, well, she can just do something.
And
like
my God.
she can make everything invisible.
Well,
she can do this. She can do that. And it's like,
Coleman Domingo's the head of the organization that's trying to cause disclosure, and he acts as pretty much the voice of God, almost because we're trying to avoid giving the aliens a direct like ET like representative. He is constantly telling him, just have faith, it's gonna work out. Like the aliens will use magic if all else fails. It's gonna that's kind of a point of the movie is today is disclosure day. It's like fated. Like Colin Firth almost has it more stacked against him. It's going to be tough to stop the aliens from drawing this all together because they have magic.
yeah. That was it. You're right. Colin Firth is actually the one who has to deal with
and is
harder
constantly like,
situations.
Fuck, that didn't work. God, ow, my head. Because also being psychic fucks him up and is taxing and shit.
Yeah, he's like dying the whole time.
Yeah.
I just need some rule. Like, I like the possession thing.
It really bothered me that it made someone invisible just once. And then I'm like, then it should have done 8 things. All it does is full suite of psychic powers plus one time it made a guy invisible. That's sloppy to me.
Yeah.
I don't like
it's just whatever.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I like the possession. The possession, I was like, got it. There are rules there. And that's a fun game, right? Which is that like, oh, you have to get rid of any identifying things in the room because he can possess. And she's like, you have to tie me up and stuff like that.
That was cool. Yeah, yeah.
That has rules
Yeah,
that
they
I
find good games
understood
because they're
and had
good.
tension. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like just someone holds the thing and everybody goes like, oh, they have the power now. They are in command. And it's like, but what? I don't know. Understand why? I still don't understand what that little dildo is. Again, I think the idea is you're not supposed to.
It's the same dildo they used to change them as children. We see them using like 8 of them to make them change. So it's like they're basically wish balls from Dragon Ball Z.
Right. It's like the aliens version of the iPhone. I felt like
you get 5 of them together, you could do crazy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Which does always make you want to wonder, are these even the best? Are these like aliens NASA scientists? Or is this race so advanced that these are alien fuck-ups who aren't supposed to be even tooling around here? Or, their society would be mad at them for doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I like the idea that some shitty aliens came and they're like, yeah, we stole these dildos and we were fucking with these primate brains and just making them do all this crazy shit.
Oh, there isn't enough.
We don't know anything
aliens
about in this movie the aliens' goals or anything.
Right.
Anything.
I would love an alien movie where other aliens showed up and arrested the first aliens and left, and then you're just like sitting there like, huh?
Yeah. If at the end of Alien, an actual one of those Prometheus motherfuckers had come who was alive and was like, sorry, my pet got out
Sorry about
of
that.
its enclosure and like took it back. And
He's really quite friendly.
Waylon, you
normally.
die. It's like, we're going to weaponize him. I can make you disappear with my sneezes. There's nothing you can do here.
It's the DS9 episode when the Ferengis are the Alien 51 or the Roswell aliens, the Area 51.
Oh, yeah,
shit.
Little Green Men.
Yeah. It's like, what if they're dumbasses? What if they're weird grifters?
And Roswell and Roswell, of course.
Yeah.
I really thought, and I guess it's just because The Departed trained me, but man, what'd you think of that shot where as the camera's slowly dollying in on Coleman Domingo going like, it's gonna be fine. They wheel a big pane of glass with a giant X drawn on it behind him so that he's in the middle
like
of the
he's
X.
dead.
I'm like, Coleman's so dead, and
Does
he
anybody
doesn't
die?
die. So I didn't even know what it meant then. I'm like, well, if no one, I don't think anyone dies in the movie. So I'm like, what did that X mean? Or did he just think it was a cool shot? Like it draws the eye to Coleman Domingo. I don't know.
I don't know. There's definitely stuff like that. There's a lot of like
They
Coleman
rebuild
Domingo,
her
by the way.
man, building the childhood house is so boomer coded.
That's
like,
what I was going to say. That's
Oh,
the
okay, sorry.
silliest thing. It's just because the whole movie, you're like, what is he doing? Why is he building that? And it's like, oh, Colin Farrell can possess people. Is that why? And then he's just like, I needed you to remember. I'm like, show her a picture. You could just show her a picture.
But also I love, and of course it doesn't not make sense because it's Emily Blunt. She's roughly that age, but actually she's a bit younger than Spielberg, to the point that like I don't know that Emily Blunt's childhood home would have had a big stack of VHSs on a VCR.
Right.
But like if you know what I mean, they're like, it is the room they build for her is just exactly what Steven Spielberg nostalgia is. It's dripping in that exact color of gold light. It's very clearly how Steven Spielberg's childhood feels in his own memory. Like in his head, that's what his childhood feels like. Because at the end, he wants to do a beat that's just like she walks into this space and it's the ultimate nostalgia. And it pans around and you're like, well, this just looks like going to Steven Spielberg's house.
Yeah.
It's like movie posters, VCRs, like a malfunctioning shark animatronic kit, shit like that.
It is. That gets
It's
depressing.
beautiful.
As a writer, that gets depressing when you write a character in like their 20s and you're like, and I'm going to give them like a flashback scene. It'll be like my childhood. And then you do the math and you're like, oh, I
Shit.
guess they should have like frosted tips. Their parents
Yeah.
should have frosted tips in this scene, I guess. Fuck. It's it's a bummer. But whatever.
And
It's
we're
fine.
only 40.
I know. It's fucked up.
Yeah, you ever talk to someone who's 60 and they go like, you wait till you're 60. I don't know. All I can say is it's you no.
Well, when
not
you talk
yet.
about, like,
You're
a
not old yet.
nostalgia
You
for
think
a
you are, but
movie-
you're not.
Yeah, you talk about a movie of nostalgia for, and someone in their 60s like, yeah, I saw that. I saw that in my 30s. You know, like I went and saw that in the movie theater.
I'll tell you what is turning on me is, old celebrities that sitcom writers would make jokes about that you'd be like, wow, I only know about, like, I guess it was, they were making fun of Frank Sinatra in Looney Tunes. He's so skinny, he would disappear behind the microphone stand, they'd like,
Right.
or he has big ears, or Clark Gable has big ears. I'd be like, I literally only know who Clark Gable even fucking is through that. But you'd run into film buffs who are older than you, or your parents' friends, or what's my who'd be like, what do you mean you don't know Slim Pickens? Or like, that's crazy. That's like not knowing Tom Cruise. Slim Pickens, he was so huge.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, oh, how you fools, like you old myopic fools. And now the roles have totally reversed where I'm like, Dick Van Dyke, where the Mary Tyler Moore Show comes from. And people are like, who's even that? And I'm like, the Mary Tyler Moore Show. What are you talking about? Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
It's happening to
It's
me.
weird when there's people like Matt Damon, where you think like, why would a kid know who Matt Damon is? Like, what would they give a shit about a Matt Damon movie?
Oh,
at
yeah,
this
yeah.
point?
Some people do make the stretch, though. I mean, he's Odyssey.
Yeah.
The new Spider-Man looks good. Should we talk more about Disclosure Day? It's your show.
We can talk about whatever, man.
Okay.
At this point, I'm like, well, we did it. Here's
I
what
do
I'll
think we
say:
did
is
it.
we've been tearing into it a bit. I will say the whole time I still thoroughly enjoyed watching this movie, which is more I can say about other movies where I'm like, it's still Spielberg, baby. I had a lot of fun watching this. It doesn't matter if it was like a little silly in places. I still like the characters.
It's still
I like
pizza.
the humor.
I liked it as much as most, if not better than most Sorkin movies. And I
Yeah.
like Sorkin movies. So even while I think they're also mostly bullshit, I like the experience of watching them.
I want to
This
say
is similar, where I'm like, I don't think the hope he's depicting is real, but it goes down smooth.
I like The Wish, and it goes down
Yeah, it's
way
good.
smoother than Sorkin. 'cause
Aspirational is good.
Yeah, and Sorkin's naive in terms of politics, which really like rubs me the wrong way, where it's like being naive about aliens, like, oh, the world would stop.
Or the
and
universe
everybody
itself.
would unite. Yeah.
He's like, can't there be something cool at least out in the dark in space? Like they say several
Yeah.
times, the aliens' first recorded message we receive is don't be scared of what you don't know. And that's right. That's all that. Like, and
Yeah.
Star Trek is built around the exact same. Cooperation and diversity of thought is strength. being a prick and constricting thought is weakness. That's what inbreeding is. It's just idea inbreeding.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, always
So,
for
yeah.
a reminder that we should be curious, we should explore, we should be open-minded, we should be excited that the universe is so big and incomprehensible, and open up and have empathy. And it
It's a
does
nice
all those
what if
things, and
wish,
it's fun.
you know?
Good, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Actually-
wish. It's like, wouldn't that be great? That's why I was like, you could have tied this to Close Encounters, because I think Close Encounters is a little of that, even though it's about a man abandoning his family. But it's like that ending at the end where they're like, yeah, they're good, and they want you to come, and it's everything's all good, you know?
My stepmother saw it and assumed they were the Close Encounters and was confused as to like, so how did everyone forget by the time Richard Dreyfuss does the other thing that this had been on the news, or like vice versa? Like, how
Right.
did they not reference? And I was like, actually, it would have been a cool, not just Easter egg, but it would have been so easy to
Yeah.
just, because at the end, they literally show like 10 different mock-ups of what if the government did have really, really juicy alien footage, right? In the
Yeah.
40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. So like they show footage of Nixon showing some guy, look at the alien we have. And they show, and that's a fun bit because it's like fake versions of all these crazy, what would your greatest hopes be for a reel of alien footage they've been sitting on? Could have easily thrown in the giant ship playing tones. That could have
Yeah.
been covered up. Like
Yeah, why
after the
not?
events of Third Close Encounters. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm
That would
so
be dope,
surprised it
actually,
wasn't
yeah.
in there. I don't know.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
agreed. It's
Fuck it.
interesting to note how consistently he's come back to Aliens, though. I really believe it's a genuine interest of his. I think that's cute. I love that he ties it to empathy because he's one of the people who taught me that, and it's true. And I'll pass it on to the future as best I can. It's the only way we get out of this. And yeah, it was enjoyable to watch the whole time.
Yeah, I do think there's movies that deal with these themes, like Contact. I would say Contact deals with these themes in a more like definitive way of like, you know, religion and aliens and faith and
I'm
hope.
sorry, but 2001. Yeah, I'm not trying to be a snob, but it's
Oh, yeah,
almost like he was
2001.
trying to do that, and you can't beat it for scope and scale. Because if you think about it, that's also that aliens lead us to a new cusp of evolution. We open our mind, the baby returns to Earth with new knowledge. And it's like
And
you're
again,
not
he-
going to top 2001 for spectacle.
Yeah, and he must know this stuff. So again, going back to like, it just feels like he like guys being like, you know, it'd be fun. You know, let's
Let's
talk
do
about
our
this.
disclosure day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do
And it-
think if I were listening to this pod and on the fence about seeing it, the one thing that I would be helpful to peep in your ear is don't expect to be on the edge of your seat. Like they got to say Private Ryan, oh no, he's getting stabbed. Oh no, he's getting stabbed. You know,
Yeah.
expect to be hopeful and thoughtful about space aliens, and you'll enjoy it much more.
And entertained, I will say, even though it wasn't like I walked out of this movie and I was like, wow, under 2 hours, that's great. And then I looked at the
No,
time and I
2:25.
was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I thought that was less than 2 hours of my time.
And that really
And
is mostly on Emily Blunt for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she owns the movie.
Josh O'Connor's good too. They don't give him, he doesn't have as much
He doesn't
to
do as much. He's just the scared guy that wants
Yeah.
the truth to come out. Emily Blunt is almost doing a full Orphan Black, like, look at all these different characters I can do. It's
Has
awesome.
she done a Spielberg? I always like,
I don't
I mean,
I thought you
I always
might
like
know.
it when even like very
Tom would
established
know.
actors do a Spielberg for the first time, and you're like, oh, they're nervous. They got to be, right? Like it like
You wanna
watching like Wyatt
Try
Russell.
hard at least, yeah.
Yeah, it's the thing where it's like there's no small parts in a Spielberg, right? Where it's like if this was a different movie, they wouldn't have Wyatt Russell play the boyfriend.
Oh, or that
who's in
opening
a few
wrestling
scenes.
match that didn't need to be anything, and they just picked wrestling match at random. That's got to be such a huge moment in that yoked dude's life.
Yeah,
I'm the
in a
fucking
Spielberg
wrestler at the
movie.
beginning of the fucking Spielberg movie, bitch. Look at that.
Yeah,
I'm that-
nothing-
They do a POV shot, and it's my POV. I am the movie.
Right. There's nothing like there's.
It's
gotta
like
be
that
nothing to
guy
prepare
can't be
them.
cast in a lot of stuff, I imagine.
Yeah, can you imagine being a wrestler and then being like Spielberg wants you, and it's like, huh?
Hell yeah, dude.
I
Let's
did
do
not
it.
prepare for that
Yeah.
contingency.
And he's like, what does he want you as? Oh, to be like a backyard wrestler going, oh, and you're like, oh, great, I know how to do that. Yeah, that's why we picked you.
I looked them
Just
up. They're
keep doing
both
what you're doing.
AEW wrestler, WWE. It's Lance Archer and Brian Cage.
Nice.
Shout out to them. Good wrestling.
Yeah.
I like that opening because I don't know about you. I didn't expect to start in a wrestling.
I didn't
match.
expect the first shot to be a POV shot of getting thrown off the ropes and clotheslined. But again, I would ask, does that mean anything? Or is the fact that that's a very obvious POV shot?
Empathy, perspective, chaos, the chaos of
but
the world
empathy
being
of getting
amongst
clotheslined
it.
by a wrestler? Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think on it more. That's the kind of stuff I'd want more time on. I'm like, that shot drew so much attention to itself, it felt like it should mean something. Does it? It may.
It probably does.
I haven't gathered it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think we did it, right?
I think we did.
Mike, thank you.
Thanks,
thank
dude.
you so much.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Would you like to plug something here at the end?
Sure, just the other show you and I do together, Star Trek The Next Futurama. We're deep in Futurama at this point. But
Balls
much like
deep.
Spielboys, it alternates between networks. So if you only patronize the Gamefully Boys, you will get every even-numbered episode of Futurama paired with an episode of TNG and a great discussion between Dave and myself of like why that's funny to us.
Yeah. We have fun.
It's a weird idea for a podcast, but I love it. And if you go to patreon.com/C now for some reason, I don't know why, /smallbeans, or just Google small beans. Actually, no, DuckDuckGo small beans, because I'm trying to divest from Google.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find the odd numbered ones because we're the odd network.
Oh, yeah. We're the
We're
even
the weirdos.
network.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/ also you don't need the C. I think if you just do /gamefully
It auto redirects to the C.
to the C, which is dumb.
but it's there for some reason.
C stands for creator, I bet.
Well, now this is really inside baseball, but Patreon has an inherent issue because you want to use it both as an audience member and a creator, and they keep trying different back-end formats to make that less unwieldy, but there's no way to do that. It's always going to be unwieldy. You essentially have to be like, I want to be viewing this mode now, or I want to be viewing in this mode now.
Are you a creator?
And they keep trying to obfuscate that that's clunky, but you can't. It's clunky, the end.
Yeah.
It will never not be clunky.
I guess that's
end.
it.
Yeah.
The end.
This is the end. My belly friend.
Hey, listen, our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can find him on twitter.com as the Corlew, or go to shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Our episode artwork is by Justin Brown, available on Twitter as Justin T. Brown or at artnessbyjustinbrown.com. And finally, additional artwork is by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at starlenearts.com or on Twitter as StarleneX. Cool. Goodbye.